Hello and welcome to Typebook. We are Chris and Rose, INTJ and INFJ. We are cataloging a variety of people based on their Jungian psychological types and their MBTI four-letter abbreviations. Today we are taking a look at gymnast Mary Lou Retton.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
I just started out just like every other mother in a Mother and Me little class, and it stuck. It stuck, and it's awesome. It's very nerve-wracking. Every season, from January to May, I have 4 daughters who are all competing all over the country, and it's so much fun. But I tell myself, I'm not going to be obnoxious. I'm going to sit like a good parent, and I just can't help myself. I'm just screaming and yelling, and you just want them to do so good, because you know that feeling.
Did you ever think of coaching them?
No, gosh, never.
Okay.
Never.
Okay.
No, I'd kill them. They would kill me. No,
Yeah.
no, I'm just that supportive parent.
And what's it like walking into a competition with your girls competing, but then taking a step back, it's Mary Lou Retton who's walking in?
I know. It's kind of
Is
weird.
it hard?
Yeah.
Is it hard for your girls, or is it hard for you?
It's hard, not for me, because that's just kind of been my life for 30-some odd years. It's hard for the girls, I think, not from me, and I think that they would agree with that. I don't put any pressure on them. And McKenna, my one who's just a rock star at LSU right now on their team, has always answered the question. I'm very proud of my mom, but she had a different path, and I have my own road, and this is what I'm doing. So they're kind of, they've got their stuff together, and yeah, I'm really not. I'm Mrs. Kelly.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe her when she says she doesn't put any pressure on them. Because I see ESFP parents like this in general, especially the females. They're very content to just sort of see how their child unfolds as a person.
Right. Yeah, it's not planned, is it?
Mm-mm.
It's more like, I always think that ESFPs make really good mothers because they just, because they're SE dominance.
Yeah.
And their kind of like philosophy of life is, let's go and do something and find the next thing and have the next experience. And I think that's really good for children, to be honest. And I think their children become more of a source of experience for themselves.
Exactly.
So I think they just let them get on with it and be their own person. The more different and spontaneous and unpredictable, I suppose, their children are, the better for them. They're more like watching their children and experiencing them rather than trying to manage them. They're just enjoying them, I think, for who they actually are. Which I think not a lot of parents actually do, unfortunately. They want to be like, no, this is the right way to be.
Right. You have to be this expectation in my mind.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think the ESFP mother is this way.
Like mothers want to give their children candy, or females generally, don't they? Like your nan comes over and she's got like sweets for you. And she just wants to see you be like, and all happy and stuff, right? It's kind of like, I feel like the ESFP mother just wants to give the children an experience. So, whether their child is like dorky or, anyway, I think they're just like, hey, look what I've got you. Star Wars figures or whatever, Go enjoy it. I think they just like to give an experience and then have an experience in giving people an experience when it comes to their children anyway. 3, 2, 1, go.
Around them. That's my married name, who nobody even knows that name.
Yeah, I'm East.
Yeah.
Getting used to that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. Isn't it weird to say my husband?
Yes, so weird. Yeah,
I'm so
I don't know.
happy for you
Do you ever
guys.
get used to that?
You did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite Olympic moment? Best part of your Olympic experience?
Well, there's so many.
Yeah.
There's
We have stories ranging from like sneaking in pizza to
of course.
writing in journals and
Yes. Tracy Talavera and I, right after, back in our day, we did 5 days of competition,
Yeah.
compulsories. We burned
Oh
our,
my
and they were
gosh.
on cassette tapes. I'm really, like, now timing myself to
Oh,
take
geez.
it. We burned our cassette tapes in the Olympic Village. Just
Okay.
watched them go up in flames, said we will never have to do that floor routine again.
That's awesome.
Um,
We actually thought about doing that to the y'all come back sign at the ranch. The last time we were at the camp, we're like, we should knock it down or burn it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Walking into opening ceremonies. My Olympics was.
You guys go to the opening ceremony?
Yes, you
Oh,
didn't.
we didn't.
You know what? And I was put up to the task because everybody was nervous.
Okay.
I had to go ask Bella. I was always the one
Yeah.
to have to go ask, can we put the radio on and work out? I was the
Oh,
brave
geez.
one.
Yeah.
And I just begged him.
Okay, stop.
Please let us go.
She was the one that had to go ask the coach everything. They put her up to doing it. It just makes sense, doesn't it? It's funny that she says this because this is my sister-in-law, the ESFP. She perceives herself to be so good with people. She's always the
Yeah.
one that wants to go in and take care of things. So, for instance, we were looking to go to a restaurant and on vacation and we couldn't get in because it was so crowded, it was booked up or whatever. She says, "Oh, let me handle them." We had a big crowd of people, big family, and she was so confident that she could just go in there and talk to these people and make them see. And she did. She did. Somehow she made it all happen. And this is kind of what her teammates were saying. "Oh, let Mary Lou go talk to the coach and she'll work her magic or whatever."
It's interesting you say that, because my sister was always good at convincing Dad to get money and things. I never was. I couldn't
No.
convince anyone.
Well, your father's a censor. Presumably, these people at the restaurant, the women who were taking the reservations,
I'm sure.
they were also censors. They have this way of
well,
relating.
Most restaurant
Yes.
staff are SE people, so
Yes.
perhaps she just knew that,
Yes.
they would be like her.
Story of Mary Lou Retton. She is a famous gold medal winning gymnast in the United States of America in the 1980s, but she was under a lot of pressure as a young 16-year-old. But SE people love it, don't they?
It's their element, isn't it?
If you think of Olympic competition, the pressure must be immense, but they probably thrive on it in the same way an SE chef thrives in the kitchen, right? On all the challenges, the stress of it all. And they complain
Yes.
about it, but they love it.
Yeah, they do complain about it.
And so this kind of high level competition, not that any other types can't do it, I'm not saying that, but really that SE person, this is their element.
Yeah, I mean, they have an advantage, almost like a mental advantage, I think, like a psychological one, because they do thrive in pressure environments.
Yeah. I mean, if you go back and watch the video, she did that vault. She got a 10, and you could just see it on her face. Like she was loving it. And she went back and did another one and got another 10. It was incredible. She
here,
just wasn't fazed by it. Yeah. Right.
I mean, I said stop because I was going to say about how energetic SE dominants are. Particularly the females, actually. But she's just so chirpy, isn't she? You couldn't imagine this woman ever tiring. Even in the conversation, she's just she's there, she's moving about, she's just so SE dominant.
And she's just like Giada De Laurentiis.
Yes, who we typed recently, and we made this kind of point to the show cook. What would you call that? The like a talk show cooking.
Yeah.
It's a thing you do, isn't it?
Americans. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's such a perfect environment for someone who just loves this thing and then the next thing and then the next thing. It's just so high octane, isn't it?
Right. Well, and also their manifestations are so similar. I mean, they even look alike. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's definitely an element of physical expressiveness. FIs smile similarly, ESFPs smile similarly to each other. You can just sort of see their personality in their face. But you don't often get to do a lot of ESFPs in the typing videos. So if you do think you know any, let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. 3, 2, 1, go.
Otherwise, this is going to be just like any other competition. And he caved, and we went.
Good.
And we were the first ones to walk into the
See? She got her
Hopefully,
way.
because you guys were the little, like,
Yeah,
smallest.
yes, they go
You
in by
didn't see
height.
anybody.
I know. So we were first in line, and God, the roar of the crowd. And
That's cool.
it was all Americans and flags and red, white, and blue. And at that moment, it was just like, wow, I made it. This is the Olympic Games.
We sat in the training room and watched it on TV.
Oh.
I got to go through closing though. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's
that was
a big
cool.
party.
Yeah.
But probably my best, and the awards ceremony, of course, is on the top of the list. But after I landed the vault to secure my all-around gold, I ran off the podium into Bella's arms, and he lifted me up, and he's like, "You are the Olympic champion,"
Oh.
and that was a moment.
That
That
was
was a
awesome.
moment.
That's so cool.
Okay,
That was
stop.
Probably one of my top.
The experience, the sensation world is her thing.
Yes.
You know, like she talks about the crowd, and she's so like feeling-ish in it too as well, so dramatic in it. About how, you know, so many people and she was there and it was like this amazing thing. It's so sensation based.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Because as an SE person myself, I'm the same. But when I'm like, I can feel it. I'm in there in the crowd and whatever, if that were me.
Yes.
But I would feel apart from it in
Yeah,
a weird way.
I agree.
Like disconnected, even though I'm experiencing it all. Like I'm just trying to put myself in her place. If that were me.
I always
I
feel
would-
like I'm just an observer.
Me too.
You know,
even
like
though
as
you're
if, like,
there. Yeah.
I'm not really like a person so much. Like I could be like the camera, just like filtering
Right.
through.
Right. Well, I'll sit in a stadium with like a bunch of people and I almost feel like I'm observing myself from like out of my body. I don't know. It's very hard to explain,
Yes.
but it's like I'm there, but I'm not there. It's just a disconnect. And you can tell with this woman, that is not the case. She is there all in. Like she is living and breathing it. There is no disconnect. She's all in that experience.
She's so acute in it, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like if I was in that situation, like I think in crowds and loud places, I just tend to like close off really, and just go into myself more, like into my head. Even though, like, you know, I can appreciate it if, you know, if I was at the Olympics, I could be like, wow, I'm actually doing this. This is crazy.
Right.
Look at all these people. But then it ends there.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Yeah.
I move on. But it just, for her, it just seems so, like, nourishing. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
By the way, your leotards are like
Yeah.
stripes and stars. I like grew up wanting that leotard.
Really?
Like I have to have a leotard.
Oh gosh!
Like I dreamt the day of wearing it.
You're
I figured out that they changed leotards. So
Yeah.
you don't keep the
No.
same. Yeah.
No, you don't. And
No.
we hated those Leos when they brought them out to show us.
Of
We're
course.
like, you have got to be. We're wearing the flag.
Mhm. If you could compete against any current girl right now, who would it be? Against or with, alongside?
In your prime.
Yes.
That, like, could she be on my team,
She could.
or I have to compete against her? Oh my gosh!
Either.
Oh my gosh!
So dramatic.
I'd like to say Simone, but she totally killed me.
All of us.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
she needs to be able to compete with the guys,
Right?
You
She's
know?
like men's skill.
I know.
Men's skill. It shouldn't be fair.
Oh man,
She's like in a different code book.
she really is. She's superhuman. She's a freak. She's just a freak.
She does.
She's a freak.
That's what I keep saying. Like she's a freak of nature.
She is. I'd say Allie. She's just got a special place in my heart.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
And then, if you could compete against anybody in the history of the sport,
Nadia.
All right, let's stop.
Nadia was my.
Okay.
They really just love conversation.
Yeah, you can tell, can't you?
Yeah. I mean, they can go. They can go the distance in the conversation marathon. And somehow it's almost like they can sprint the marathon. Most of us are slowly, got 26 miles to go. We're pacing ourselves. The ESFP is just like all 26 miles fast sprint to the finish line. And I think it's just because it constantly, like we just said with the SE, it just feeds that what's around the bend, conversationally speaking, It's all like life's a bowl of cherries in a way.
Yeah, they're very optimistic, ready for the next thing. I've always been bewildered by them, to be honest, because they could not be more different than me.
They're another type, I would say, that I find warm.
Yes, they have that. I'm not worried about showing my FI kind of thing. ENFP is the same way too. They're so like human. They want to be connective with others.
Yes.
Like there's just the way she says things to this girl here. Like she's like, "Oh, you're so sweet," and "Oh, you're." Just the way she's so warm in it. ESTJ females can be a bit like this too. But sometimes in certain types, you see the FI kind of shine through for what it really is. In others, you don't so much. So it's a bit more hidden. But certainly ESFP, ESTJ females,
ENFP,
males and females actually. They're very warm in almost a particular way that you could confuse with being FE.
To support our project, please comment, like, and subscribe. We want to encourage a dialogue in the comments, so substantiated disagreement is welcome. Check out the playlist for this type and our recommended video below. If there's someone you want us to type, please leave a comment for us. Or you can look into our fast track system to find out how you can get your favorite people typed sooner.